Good morning, my dear student of class 9. Today we'll discuss about your new chapter. This chapter is from history, chapter 2. You can see the name here, the growth of Indian nationalism. So I hope all of you are well. So today we'll discuss how the Indian nationalism was growth and what's the main things which helps to develop the nationalism among the mind of the Indian people. So, yes, all of you know that India was under the British rule from around 200 years. Before that, Mughals rules are there in India. So, when the Britishers came, they started to make India rules and they established their dominion over the India. After the Mughal Emperor Bahadur Shah II, the Mughal dynasty got totally collapsed and all the administrative systems was go under the hand of the British. So these Britishers gradually started to rule in India and they established their various institutions in India also. One of the main important thing is that which helped in the growth of nationalism. Many things are there. So out of this, one of the important point in your chapter, which is given the introduction of the Western education. So as all of you know, that Western education means the education system which prevailed in British territory in England. This type of education was also introduced in India by the British government and which helped to develop the feelings of nationalism among the common people of India. So in this regard, one important thing you have to remember that at first in 1813 by the Charter Act, Britishers established told that we'll spend many rupees in Indian education. They want Indians to get educated. Their main aim at first was to get help from the Indians by giving them education. If the Indians get educated, then they help them in the administrative measures. So this is the main aim, to give education to the Indian peoples in Western method. And then in 1854, one board was established under the Sir Charles Wood, and it gives elaborate details how the education system will be prevailed, started from lower class to higher class. All these details was given by the Sir Charles Wood, and he also told that one education department was set up in all the provinces of India. So, with this aim and objectives, Western education was started in India, and this Western education opened a new floodgate for the Indian peoples. They now started to establish the things that through Western education, Indian peoples can get huge knowledge which helps them to gather the feelings of nationalism. India's peoples now come into the contact with the various writings of great political thinkers of the world like Rousseau, Burke, Machiavelli, Spencer, all these things. After studying their writings and their stories, Indian education peoples get so much enthusiastic and they get the idea what is nationalism and all these things, and which helped the educated Indians to prepare themselves for the national movement of India. And after learning from all them, they gradually started to motivate the common Indian peoples to come and join into the movement. So, in between this time, all over the India, Western education started to make its influence. People gather the knowledge of nationalism and all, and which later helped to form the urge of nationalism among the common people. And they asked the common peoples to follow the path of nationalism if they want to get independence. And they also encouraged the peoples to join into the various movements so that Indian peoples would know what exactly this independence means. And after that, another important reason for the growth of nationalism is the development of the means of transport and communication. So Britishers' main aim was to doing business all over the India. So for this business, you need roads, you need railway lines, you need telegram lines and all this for proper handle of all these things. And India is not a small country to handle from one place. So separate offices are established throughout the country. So in between this time, transport and communication is also need to be developed. So Britishers established various roads, railway lines, post offices and telegrams throughout the country. And they gradually expand them. And then in 1839, the first Grand Trunk Road was established between Kolkata and Delhi, which connects the Kolkata and Delhi. One Grand Trunk Road was established, and then the first railway line was established between Bombay and Thane by the British government, which was 21 miles connecting Mumbai and Thane. And then in South India and then gradually in the Assam also, rail line was established. And then in 1839, the first telegraph line was established between the Kolkata and Diamond. And then in 1851, electronic telegraph line was introduced by the British government to make communication better between the from one place to another place. In this way, throughout the country, many railway lines and networks are established to connect the to connect one area with the another area, and many roads and transportation system was also get better and developed. And then this telegram lines is also established and expanded throughout the country. So all these things also help in the growth of the nationalism. Now people can move from one place to another place. They can got the various news or telegrams also. So which led to the another important cause for the growth of the nationalism among the peoples of Indians. This helped the educated Indians to throw their ideas and thoughts about nationalism in all the parts of the country. And then it ultimately established one of the important means to growth of the nationalism. Now another next point in your book is given the various social and religious movements. Social and religious reform movement, which was done by the various scholars, which we will learn now. And these things also helped in the growth of the nationalism, and it helps to unite the Indian peoples and brings them under one umbrella, so that Indians can fight unitedly against the British. And in this way, the first topic in your book is given the Raja Ram Mohan Roy and Brahma Samaj. So as all of us know, that Raja Ram Mohan Roy was one of the pioneer persons of India's freedom movements and also in the social religious reform movement. He was doing a lot of work to develop the feelings of nationalism among the Indian people. Side by side, he also doing various things to stop the evil practices which is continued into the Hindu religious system, like prevailing of sati and then child marriage and all these things. He urged the people to stop it, and he gives proper, by studying Upanishads and Vedas, he gives proper demonstration that these things are not prevalent in earlier society. So it gives a jolt to the Brahmins to stop all these things, activities. And in between this time, the British missionaries were also started to convert the Hindu peoples into the Christianity, and they showed that Christianity is better than Hinduism, so which is not acceptable by Raja Ram Mohan Roy. He was against it, and he write many writings, and he told the glorifying past. He writes in his writing, he discussed about the glorifying past of the Indians, which is from the starting from the Vedas and Upanishads, all this, and he wanted to stop this racism which was done by the Christian missionaries, and he asked the Indians that not to fall into this trap and follow the path of the Hinduism, and this way he also able to unite the peoples throughout the Bengal and other parts of the India. And then he also told that he also attacked the Orthodox Brahmins who ruling the society at that time by various measures, taking that sati and then other child marriage and widow remarriage, all these things. He asked that all these things should be stopped. Widows should get remarriage according to the view of the Raja Rammohn Roy. There is sati system of sati should be stopped, and side by side child marriage also should be stopped. And he was very dynamic person, Raja Rammohn Roy. He not only limited his march on the field of the reform movement, side by side he also doing lot of works into the field of the education also, and he was also doing lots of works to stop the social evils, various type of the social evils which was prevalent in the society. He asked the peoples to stop all these evils so that we can get developed as a better nations, and it helps us to unitedly fight against all these activities. So is also encouraged the common peoples, and he asked the educated Indians to told the common peoples to stop all the civil practices, and he wanted to unite the peoples, and he was such a pioneer person that he considered as father of the modern India. He was considered as the father of modern India. So after Raja Rammohn Roy and Brahma Samaj, another one important part is that which is Arya Samaj. Arya Samaj was established by Swami Dayanand Saraswati in Punjab. He was also a reformer, and he encouraged the peoples to stop the idol worship. According to the Dayanand Saraswati, that God is prevalent throughout the everywhere. So we can't, by doing only the idol worships, we can't stop God only in these idols. So according to him, that God is prevalent everywhere in our surroundings. And then he was also against the child remarriage, casteism, polygamy. As we all know that casteism was a very dangerous system prevailed in Indian society. So Dayanand Saraswati was also talked against this casteism. He told that this casteism should be stopped, and all the Hindu people are treated equally. He also talking about the equality of men and women. He told that all are equal. So after that, another important part is in your book is given the Prarthana Samaj. This Prarthana Samaj was also established in Bengal by Keshav Chandra Sen, and they were also encouraged by the Brahma Samaj and told that throughout the country they motivate the peoples to stop all the evil practices of the society and urged the equality of the men and women. They was in the favor of the widow remarriage, and they told that they asked the government to stop the child marriage also from this society. And then this Prarthana Samaj also asked about the equality between the men and women. So they wanted to give some independence to the women. So they established various cottage industries from many parts of the country to give some type of income for the common women so that they can survive their life easily. They don't need to depend on the other peoples. And then another important thing is here is Ramakrishna Mission. So Ramakrishna Mission was established by Swami Vivekananda. We all know that he was the famous person, Swami Vivekananda. So he was established Ramakrishna Mission, who was by the instruction of his guru, Ramakrishna Paramhamsa, who was a very great religious leader. We all know he was a very simple and pious person, and told and discussed about to spread the message of Hinduism far and wide. This Ramakrishna Mission was established by the Swami Vivekananda. And Swami Vivekananda, as we all know, that he was famous for his Chicago speech, which is given on the religious summit in America. And by giving this speech, he get famous throughout the world. So in between, he lived very short life, within 34 years or 35 years, he died. But in between this time, this short time, he, by his speech and by his writing, he is able to encourage the people to follow the path of proper Hinduism, and to by abolishing all the evil practices which is prevalent in the Hindu society. This Swami Vivekananda, side by side, is also a very famous person and very famous for his various speeches, and he also established this Ramakrishna mission. And then another one is Theosophical Society. This Theosophical Society was an international society. It was established in New York, and it opened its branch in Madras in 1885 under the it was established by the effort of Mrs. Annie Besant and settled. It's after establishing its branch in India under the Annie Besant, it started to organize and popularize the peoples to for the fight against the British government, fight against the British rules, and then they popularized the movements in India. This by various social services. Annie Besant talked about the Indian philosophy, Indian culture, Indian heritage. He told that India was such a rich country in culturally, in financially, or also in very huge philosophy. Rich philosophy of India is also there, which is prevalent in the time, from the time of the Vedas. So India should not feel deteriorated themselves. They are very rich cultural heritage and all. Then why should the Indian people should feel deteriorated themselves? They should feel that yes, we can do anything. We have a very rich cultural heritage. So with this aim, he wanted to give this widespread. He wanted to ask the Indian common peoples to come forward and to learn all these things, so that Indian society can realize its own identity, and they should not feel that we are inferior, we are under the British rule. Indians have the power to rule their country by their own. So in this way, it also helped in the development of nationalism. And then another one is Aligarh movement. This Aligarh movement was started by the Muslims. One famous Muslim leader, Sir Syed Ahmed Khan, who has done a lot to organize the Muslims people throughout the country. And this Aligarh was a place in Uttar Pradesh where he established the Aligarh College. And this Aligarh, through this college, he gradually started the English education among the Muslim peoples. He urged the Muslim peoples to get the Western education and English education so that they could get proper development, and they develop the feelings of nationalism and all these things. And then he also wanted to make the Muslim people politically conscious. So he told that without Western education, Muslim peoples are unable to get. He wanted to bring change in the Muslim society, which is under the dark vision of the various other parts of the society. So he wanted the Muslim people should educate themselves, and they also getting equally feelings towards the nationalism of India, that India is our motherland. So in this way, through this Aligarh college, he established Aligarh movements throughout the country. Very many Muslim people are get attracted towards it and started to spread his knowledge and all these things throughout the country. And then he get very famous. Gradually, this Sir Syed Ahmed Khan was get very famous among the common Muslim peoples of India. And finally, in the year 1920, this Aligarh College was developed as a Aligarh Muslim University by the British government, which is still prevailed in our society. So, as we all know, up to this much, today we will stop here, and this remaining portion of your role of press and other things in this chapter, which we will discuss in our next class. And so what we know that how the Indians developed what things developed the feelings of nationalism. The first thing is Western education. This give a new floodgate before the Indians to get huge knowledge of the Westerns and how the democracy prevailed and how the peoples get united throughout the world, and therefore various movements in their countries. All this encouraged the common Indian peoples to develop the feelings of nationalism. And another thing is that development of the transport and communication. This also helps the Indian peoples to move from one people to another, one place to another place, so that they can encourage the people not only in a particular city but in outside the city also. And then another one, then the Raja Ram Mohan Roy is one of the pioneer person of modern India. He was called the father of modern India. He was also doing a lot to bring this change in the society. And then Prarthana Samaj and then Brahma Samaj, these are also worked hard a lot to bring the changes into the mindset of the people, so that people can get united as a country. And then this Aligarh movement, through this Aligarh movement, and Swami Vivekananda also wanted to make the Indians feel them that they are very huge number of Indian philosophies are there, Indians books are there which prevail in from very earlier time, and rich cultural heritage of Indians are there. So India should never feel deteriorated. So all these things are done to help growth of the nationalism. And side by side other topics of other reason is also there, like role of press and all these things, and then political consciousness, how all these things develop. We'll discuss this in next class. So today up to this, thank you. I hope you liked this video, and then if you have any problems and if you don't understand any topic, all of you have my number, so you can call me personally in my number or message me in my WhatsApp number. And as all of you know, COVID-19 pandemic is going on and all the country is under lockdown. So I request all of you again to stay home and stay safe and follow the instructions given by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare and side by side Government of India, and also follow the various instructions which was issued regularly by the Health Ministry, Government of Assam. And keep yourself in home and stay safe and keep studying. Thank you.